So we're here at HNAT 2025. I'm here with Ishan Sharma from Philanthropy. And what he's doing there is very exciting because he's been looking at hydrogen, natural hydrogen, from a very different point of view for most people. He says, he claims that natural hydrogen has a problem with information share. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's given us a parallel, which is very interesting, which is geothermal and natural hydrogen. Geothermal took a very long time to develop. We are seeing only now what they've managed to accomplish there. But with natural hydrogen, we don't want that to happen. We want it to develop over the next decade, if possible, and not take 50 years to 100 years as geothermal did. So, Ishan, please, tell me more about the parallels and why you've given us presented us with this condition in terms of making information happen faster so we can develop the industry quicker.
Yeah, so I think the starting point is that you look across the history of shale, geothermal, pretty much any subsurface revolution happened when information flowed faster than capital. And so in shale in the 1970s was when the real breakthrough started to happen that unlocked the 1990 shale boom. But the first shale well was drilled in the 1800s, right? It was only until 1970 through the Eastern Gas Shales Project that people started collaborating together or taking the risk to collaborate. In geothermal, we're seeing the same thing. The first wells were drilled in 1920, and it was only until 2014 when the government in the U.S. set up a whole test bed called the Utah Forge that facilitated data sharing between operators. And now a decade later, we're seeing that the field in geothermal is starting to take off. And so the question for geologic hydrogen is, we don't have something that is building that shared data infrastructure, that learning by doing effect across the ecosystem. Instead, we've got a lot of people tackling the same problems by themselves.
Yes.
And so the idea is that if you can dramatically accelerate the amount of people looking at that frontier data set, whereas right now, there's only a handful of geologists and geoscientists within the companies that have actual pilots. Like, imagine what the world would look like if everyone had access to data to be able to innovate, to iterate, and eventually move capital downstream to the whole ecosystem, which is what we saw in shale geothermal.
It's beautiful because when I first met Ishan, we met over email, and I said, this is so similar to something I presented about a few months ago to several of the leaders here. I said, why don't we have more information being shared? This is part of what I'm doing today, which is the whole newsletter and the podcast and so on. It's part of that. It's because we need that information. And people like you, Ishan, who are closer to the funding sources and who are closer to the leaders, the CEOs, who can share it with them. It's so good that we have what you're doing and Renaissance Philanthropy is doing, because that way we will be able to democratize this information, not only information, but the development of all of this data we are getting. So Ishan has just given us in the conference room behind there, he's given us some information, an exclusive. RenPhil will be giving out grants. They're working closely with HyTerra to bring money to the people who need it, funding and support to the people who are developing the space. And they will be working together with geoscientists and with companies who are going to be able to access the data from HyTerra to do a better job. But tell me more about this, because I guess you can explain it much better than I can.
Yeah, so, well, thanks for the chance. I think this starts with the premise that, most of the companies are the ones that have the frontier data sets. When you talk about sharing with companies in terms of data or otherwise, inherently is a non-competitive thing.
Yes.
Like anti-competitive. Why would I jeopardize my IP? And I think what the experience with HyTerra has been, which will be sort of the first time researchers have access to a commercially drilled hydrogen well and the opportunity to publish openly. We're making nominal amounts of grants to these researchers. The story with HyTerra has been an exercise in finding out what types of data we want to share. But through this grant, we've moved the conversation from, no, we don't want to share any data, to asking the question of what types of data, right? When you start peeling back the curtain, there's lots of data that is non-competitive, right? Yeah. So if you're an engineered subsurface, hydrogen pilot, you're getting to pilot quite soon, sharing data on rock mechanics of how mafic and ultramafic rocks frack is helpful to every other startup that's about to pilot, raises the overall odds of success, likely ends up generating more capital to the whole ecosystem. Yeah. So broadly across, I think my big push and what we want to put money behind is investigating what types of data, if you're a frontier pilot company, you can really use to share and help grow the whole ecosystem, because on the back end, it'll mean more capital for the whole ecosystem.
Fantastic. And I think that's a great vision you have. And I'd like to see where it is within 1 or 2 years. do you have any last things to add? Like, what is the next plan of RenPhil, or the grants that you're providing? What is the next step?
I think we'll be making a few big announcements in the next coming weeks and months. So please stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. And remember, this was from HNAT 2025. If you're watching it, great. If you're not, come back next year. Come with us next year. And thank you, Ishan. Okay, so we're here at HNAT 2025. I've got Douglas Wicks with me. We've already done a mock interview. Didn't work out, so we're going to try again. So, Douglas, today I'm going to ask you a very critical question. When it comes to natural hydrogen, storage, transport, and all of the other things that will take us to off-taking and to the production of natural hydrogen as a resource, more than just, just finding it or detecting it, how have we developed what, in terms of partnerships and there's an audience now, how have we developed the partnerships in terms of companies and storage and transport of this resource?
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. The storage of hydrogen and the movement of it is really key, as you pointed out. No one is going to be moving physical assets to a hydrogen deposit. So the question comes back is, as you're testing that well, how do you monetize that first kilo? And I've been working with a company called Prometheus Hydrogen, which has really mastered the ability to make metal hydride storage work. It's a low pressure, low temperature process. And I have the lawyer over here listening to me from them who I'm working with. And what it's really good is that it allows one to bring a container to a well site and trap that first hydrogen and move it effectively, and has the ability to scale, so you can really capture all the hydrogen without having to build compressors and pipelines and gas storage units, right, and the likes that's required for that. I think it's a real breakthrough, and the group Prometheus Hydrogen is literally opening today, coming out of stealth. They've been in stealth for the last 12 years developing this tech.
Oh,
so you're the first person to hear about it.
We're breaking it. So we're breaking it here at NatH2Investing, here at HNAT 2025.
Yeah.
And talking of,
and you'll also hear about partnerships coming up with them partnering with the geologic hydrogen community to really start the first capture of hydrogen, at well sites in the very near future.
Perfect. And talking of HNAT and talking of this current atmosphere we have, I think you can agree with me when you say that there's so many more people, and we'll be showing more footage of the area. There's so many more people and so much more interest in talking now about what comes after, the offtake, what we're using it for. There's now not green methanol, natural methanol. So how do you feel about that? How does it make you feel as one of the pioneers of the natural hydrogen industry?
It's very exciting. It's exciting to see the increase in intention, the increase of investment by companies and governments into the field. Which is all we really need, which is needed to really develop this new primary energy source. I'm also quite excited that the discussion of engineered hydrogen production is increasing. This is a topic I have long been an advocate for, to make it really affordable. We're going to have to stimulate the subsurface to really produce hydrogen at low cost.
Give it a little push, huh?
Give it a push.
Yeah. Anyway, it's great to have you here, Douglas.
Right.
And sorry about the initial one. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Anthony. Hopefully it comes out well.
Yeah, we'll be making more of these interviews, and see you here at H.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are speaking here from HNAT 2025. I'm with Humberto Reis. He is a consultant from HSR Energy and Geosciences. And Humberto is originally from Brazil. He works from Brazil and works globally. And something I wanted to ask you, Humberto, thanks for joining me, is... Yeah, it's a pleasure. I mean, we've known each other for quite a while. What I wanted to ask you, Humberto, is when it comes to the potential in Brazil for natural hydrogen, because I know, being Latino myself, I want natural hydrogen to happen in Latin America. What are the signs for a high potential of natural hydrogen in Brazil and in Latin America? What should we be looking for? What signals?
I'm a little suspect to say, but we have a huge potential in South America, especially in Brazil, because there we have all the ingredients needed for generate and hopefully accumulate natural hydrogen. We have sources, we have mapped migration pathways, and we have good reservoirs. And most importantly, we have evidence of natural hydrogen there, both in surface and also in subsurface. So we are very in a very good condition for start an exploration in Brazil.
Right.
Actually.
Excellent. And I know you've been around the world. So you've been in several parts of the world. You've looked at natural hydrogen. Where else are you looking that is very interesting and could be a surprise in terms of natural hydrogen, the development of natural hydrogen exploration? Which countries or which region?
Yeah, I have no doubt that Africa, when things start officially in Africa, will have very good discoveries and maybe new production in the future. We must remember that everything in some way started in Africa. It seems that yeah. So this is a potential place for natural hydrogen. The other place that I'm doing a campaign is China. China is very aggressive in exploring natural hydrogen. They just spud the first natural hydrogen well there.
Yes.
So these are two places that I'm seeing some good potential. The other places are already on the map.
On the map, okay.
And also South American again.
South America, yeah.
As I mentioned before.
There's been a lot of talks about Colombia, and right now there's a talk. Colombia's talking here in the conference room, and Uruguay will be speaking soon. So hopefully we get some news about what's going on there. Well, thank you for joining me, Humberto, and thank you for being here. And remember, we're at HNAT 2025. If you're not watching us, if you're not watching it live, hopefully next year you can watch it. Thank you, Humberto.
Thank you very much. See you around.
Okay, so we're here again here at HNAT 2025. I'm with Krista Davies, COO of Prominence Energy. And today we're going to be talking about a bit more about what the company is doing and how she sees the space. So I know there is a bit of oil and gas involved from your background. And I would love to know how oil and gas, the techniques in oil and gas work in natural hydrogen and how they help this space become a bit more easy for exploration.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's a lot of lessons we can take from the oil and gas industry and bring into natural hydrogen exploration. I think the most important thing is the way that oil and gas industry uses multidisciplinary sciences. So we look at geology, we look at geophysics, but we also look at geochemistry and microbiology as well. So drawing on that kind of multidisciplinary approach that the oil and gas industry has, as well as looking at play-based exploration. So stacking all of those elements, the hydrogen systems elements together to come up with the most likely areas for exploration.
Right, and has it created an extra advantage having all of this experience in oil and gas?
Definitely, there's a lot of synergies from oil and gas and bringing it into natural hydrogen. And the most important thing is how we learn. We take our data and we learn from all of the data that we gather, and we build our models and hopefully move closer towards success.
Fantastic. And now circling back to Prominent Energy specifically, what are the most exciting signals and other types of signs that make you see, well, this might be a great natural hydrogen play? What are you looking for, if you can share it with us, of course?
Yeah, so from our perspective, there's a couple of things. Obviously, there's the source rocks. So we're looking for those really hot radioactive granites that could lead to radiolysis, but we're also looking at rocks that have some ultramafic minerals in them, so we can have the potential to stack sources, so we can have iron rock reactions as well as radiological reactions. So for us, that's very exciting. The other thing that's exciting from Prominence's point of view is to have a look at what we're calling sterile reservoir seal pairs. Because hydrogen is quite reactive in the subsurface, what we want to see is older rocks, sterile rocks that don't have much organic material, rocks that don't have much microbiological action in the rocks, so we can help to preserve the hydrogen that might be trapped. So for us, those are the two really exciting things. If we can stack sterile reservoirs over those good source rocks, then we're excited about those areas.
Thank you very much, Krista. And remember, we're at HNAT 2025. Prominence Energy trades on the ASX as PRN. So thank you for being here, and thank you for answering the questions.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Hey, so we're back with HNAT 2025. Right now I'm with Shayne Neigum from Max Power Mining Corp. He's a VP Exploration, and we have a few questions about Max Power, because right now Max Power is doing a lot of interesting things, a lot of exciting things. We see a lot of them in the news. If you follow us on our website, you'll see they have lots of updates going on. So the first question I had, and probably everybody who's watching this, Shayne, is what is this about the Genesis trend? What's so exciting about it? Because I see the videos coming out, the markets and materials coming out. They make even me, I mean, who is the media guy, they make me so excited. So what is going on in the Genesis trend? Why is it so exciting? And what do you think of it from the geological point of view?
Yeah. Hey, first off, thanks for having me. Been following you and Morten and your guys, and we're so grateful for what you do for companies like ours and the industry to date. It's really good for everybody. What we're doing right now is very special. We're the first group to drill a naturally, occurring hydrogen well in the province of Saskatchewan and in Canada. So it's been very busy times for me, geologically and operationally. We're currently drilling while we're here, so the time change has been a little funky to deal with, but good. I love operations, and so far good on our first test of concept well at Lawson, and we're extremely excited because Lawson is one of several play concepts that we want to test over the course of 2025 and 2026. We're encouraged with just operational drilling results to date, and we're excited to be here, among peers that are doing special things for the sector, and we're pleased because we're doers. We're drilling. We're gathering critical data for the global hydrogen industry to try to answer some of the sectoral unknowns that are following all of us right now. So we're pleased with where we're at.
Right. And circling back to more specifically Lawson, what is it that makes it so exciting? I mean, I want to know a bit more. I'm sure, like I said, the audience, they want to know everything about what's going on there.
Yeah, Lawson, it's one of several exciting play concepts, and it's a little bit east of the traditional helium and clean gas fairway, where myself and Matt's colleagues have had considerable success in past endeavors. And what we're trying to show is just scalability and opportunity of southern Saskatchewan. We believe these trends extend, several hundreds of kilometers. Right. And if we're successful at Lawson, we've just proved up, a several 100-kilometer fairway, and which expands almost the whole southern portion of our province. You know? So if we're able to have success there, we're able to fine tune our current model and use, feed our large Earth model we're building, AI component to just refine and give us better data and give us better accuracy moving into subsequent drills.
And the exciting part about where you're drilling right now, I mean, it has access to the offtake, right? It has access to industry and so on. What about that? Like, tell me a bit more about that. What would you have if this is successful, like we hope it will be?
The old adage, location, location, location.
Yeah.
That's a big component of the Lawson target. Certainly we're excited geologically, but as I showed in my slide deck earlier this morning today, as a keynote presenter, we are situated, within 20 to 80 kilometers of the largest industries in the province. And, from steel manufacturers, Sask Power, Sask Energy are key crown corporations that supply energy to all of us, natives of Saskatchewan. Big potash mines, several large scale industries, like I said, will benefit from a natural hydrogen discovery, So location is everything. And what we're trying to do is show scalability and optionality among our portfolio that we're certainly excited about.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, thank you for answering my questions.
It's a true pleasure. And like I said, from all of us, not just at Max, but the entire industry, we're grateful for fellas like yourself and Morten and the rest of your crew to give such good coverage in an industry that certainly needs it.
and the followers who keep updated with us, which is great to see all these people checking out our stuff. So thank you. Hopefully, if you're watching HNAT, you've seen Shayne's talk at the conference room. And if you're not, remember to come next year. Thank you, Shayne.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And follow Max Power Mining Corp. We got a lot of exciting things to do.
Stay updated with the videos. They're making some great videos, guys.
Thank you.
So we're at HNAT 2025. I'm here with Natalia Branch, CFO of GeoKiln. And GeoKiln is doing something very unique and exciting with stimulation of geologic hydrogen. They're producing it using a method that I want you to explain in simple terms. This is going to go out to a lot of people from different backgrounds. So in those simple terms, but detailed terms at the same time, how would you explain GeoKiln's technology?
Yes, thank you, Anthony. GeoKiln is developing manufactured subsurface hydrogen, or MSSH, a way to produce clean hydrogen using thermal stimulation in iron-rich rock directly underground. The current production methods of hydrogen each have their trade-offs. The gray hydrogen is very CO2 heavy, and green and blue hydrogen is, even though it's clean, it's expensive and it's energy negative. Natural hydrogen is ideal, but it's rare in nature as diamonds. And just like diamonds, we found a way to manufacture it. So to do that, we place electrical heaters into iron-rich rock. So we are not searching for perfect geological systems, but instead focus on the right rock. And once we have those heaters in the ground, we heat up the formation, releasing hydrogen through a natural apparent reaction called serpentinization that would otherwise take thousands of years.
Right.
Then the produced hydrogen is collected via a well, very similar to oil and gas, but without any emissions or water injection. We are at GeoKiln, we are focused on enabling natural hydrogen. Rather than competing with exploration, we make it producible and scalable. We are partnering with CMG, and in that partnership, we've validated our science through a physics-based simulation model. And now we are ready to go in the field. We will have an announcement coming out shortly about partnership with a major natural hydrogen exploration and production company. And we'll be able to go for phase 1 and phase 2 field demonstrations next year. Together, those demonstrations will show that hydrogen can be produced, and it's through phase 1, and phase 2 will deliver about 100 tons of hydrogen per year.
That's exciting.
Thank you. And that will take us into the commercial project that will come later after that. So our goal is to make geologic hydrogen a meaningful part of the clean energy mix, clean, scalable, and low cost.
Perfect. And one of the interesting things, or one of the exciting things about GeoKiln is the background. There's a lot of people from oil and gas, and you have so many decades of experience. How has the experience from oil and gas translated into the natural hydrogen, or more specifically, into the stimulated hydrogen space? How are you using all of that skills? And what does that bring that others that haven't gone through that same background don't have?
Yes, thank you. So our team is one of our major differentiators. And what's interesting is that our team has pioneered this exact subsurface heating technology at Shell for oil and gas. So our CEO, Alexei, has led large-scale capital projects and developed the heaters. Our reservoir engineer, Robert, has simulated oil and gas in shales and heavy oils, and he's now doing the same for hydrogen. Ernesto has ran the onshore field operations and deployed the heaters in Canada and US. And Lorna monetized the technology and made R&D into a scalable business. From my side, what I bring is I led finance for billion-dollar assets at Shell, creating financial models for projects with large capex and major technical uncertainties. And now we're bringing that same rigor and technology to hydrogen. Now, of course, being a startup, we are very much having to wear multiple hats.
Yeah.
So in addition to being our chief commercial officer, for example, Lorna also develops our website.
Right.
And I don't just do finance, but I also am in charge of legal and HR. For example, just the other day, I had to find how to get posters for that are mandatory in the U.S. for labor law to hang in our office.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very hands-on and very exciting, never boring. What I'm most proud of is that we're building truly a people-first culture. we all work hard, but we're also creating space for all of us to learn, make mistakes, and grow together. And I think that's what makes our work meaningful. And I think that's what makes us such a good team together.
And that's fantastic. I mean, can I use the term Avengers, the Avengers of stimulated geologic hydrogen? Because that team sounds like an A-listed team. So that's all. It's GeoKiln, don't forget, that's going to be a big name very soon. So see you at the next H-Nat, and thank you, Natalia, for joining me.
Of course.
Hello again, and welcome to H-Nat 2025. This time I'm with Viacheslav Zgonnik, CEO of HyReveal. He's actually one of the pioneers, the world pioneers in natural hydrogen. So we're going to get some interesting info out of him. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and first of all, we wanted to ask mostly, because I know a lot of people in the audience will be curious about this. It's about natural hydrogen exploration milestones in general that have happened around the world. What has been one of the most exciting milestones you found, and how has this affected your company's exploration strategy and your strategy as a business in general?
The most interesting developments which happened during the past years were the first drillings, which happened on each part of the world. We know that drillings has been done in North America, in Australia, in Africa, and right now Asia is coming into the field, and also Canada, of course, and South America. So drilling is happening all over the place, and companies here and there, we see the announcement that the concentrations of hydrogen were discovered. However, they were not yet announcement everyone is waiting for, that the big discovery, finally here's the producing well. And this gave us idea and motivation to develop modeling software we've done in HyReveal, which allows actually to have a numerical twin, so to speak, of your hydrogen system from the very bottom, from the so-called kitchen to the surface. It covers all of the possible mechanisms for hydrogen generation. It covers migration, multi-phase, multi-compound, and what's more important, it corrects also for microbial consumption at the very bottom, and you can connect your measurements on the top with what you have at the bottom. And what we've discovered by using this software and applying to real-world cases, that actually some of the wells where hydrogen has been reported already, it can be just a background concentration. And the big difference for commerciality of the projects will be to be able to distinguish your background level from your accumulation. This is where you will have something you can sell and make money. So the recent drillings which happened, they didn't bring the results what we were expecting fast enough. And this is where HyReveal is coming to help explorationists to de-risk their process, to be able to know what's the volume of the product they may have, what's the quality of this product they may have.
Actually, and it's interesting what you're mentioning, the software you're developing, the AI software, because right now, well, it's just before 3 p.m., I believe. And in an hour and a half from now, so you'll be seeing this probably before the video comes out, there's going to be a talk, right? Please confirm.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. My associate co-founder, Jonathan Allard, will be presenting what we've done so far with some new developments, very recent from past days, and we're very proud of.
That's fantastic. So hopefully you'll be seeing this on our website before the video actually comes out, sadly. But let's go back to de-risking. You mentioned de-risking, and that's a very key word. When it comes to de-risking, investors are usually the first name we think about when it's de-risking and keeping capital safe. How is the strategy, or how is your AI actually helping investors de-risk and keeping their capital more protected from, dry wells and so on? How can you do that? How can you help do that?
Just one precision before answering your question, that our software is not AI based. We're actually on the opposite side. We're physics and chemistry based.
Perfect.
We have plenty of physical-chemical reactions embedded in it, and everything is calculated, and you have the full control. You can turn on and off specific mechanisms if you want and see what's the impact on your system. And this is exactly what investors are looking. They want for prospectors to show them they understand their prospect. They've done their homework, and they understand where the hydrogen is coming from, how it is migrating, how it is trapped, what happens from the trap to the leakage at the surface. Because we see companies announcing, yes, we detected 2,000 ppm, 4,000 ppm, plenty of ppms. But what does it mean exactly for exploration, for investors?
Exactly, yeah.
Because you cannot sell ppms, you sell the accumulation. And this is where we help companies to de-risk their place. We help them from their play definition to prospect characterization to de-risk in each step of their exploration workflow.
Exactly. And thank you for the clarification, because as just to remind you, you as a viewer will probably know more than I know now, because the talk in the conference room hasn't happened yet. But thank you for explaining, for clarifying. So, okay, that's good to see. It would be nice to just get one more comment from you when the talk is finished.
Absolutely.
You think we can sit down for 1 minute, 2 minutes?
It will be my pleasure.
Fantastic. Thank you, Viacheslav.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And if you're not watching H-Nat now, make sure to come next year or buy a ticket for next year. It's been fantastic.
Very good venue. Amazing.
See you. Hello, this is the last interview from the first day of H-Nat 2025. Today, I am with one of the pioneers, one of the biggest figures in the natural hydrogen industry, which is Isabelle Moretti, the expert in natural hydrogen and an expert geoscientist at the University of UPPA and Sorbonne. Today, I want to thank you very much for being with me, and I want to just get a bit of intel on things we want to know, everybody in the audience and myself, as well as NatH2Investing. So when it comes to the promising areas, I know you have worked everywhere across the world, in many continents. What has been one or two of the best places or more promising areas in the world when it comes to natural hydrogen exploration? And where do you think it might be developed in the future?
You have different points when we are looking for reserve. You have first the generation, and then the migration, accumulation, and obviously the law and the market. So it's difficult to answer for the full chain of item. You have to, in terms of generation of hydrogen, in the country I have worked, there is a very huge potential in Namibia, for instance, in Australia. Recently, I was in Kazakhstan. I was very impressed. And in Bolivia, in Colombia, sorry.
Yeah.
But after, if you compare to other resources, you may have a failure in an area which is very rich and discovery in an area which is very poor. And up to now, we progress a lot during the last couple of years on understanding the generation of hydrogen. About the accumulation of hydrogen, up to now, we are a little bit short in knowledge. So we will see what is happening in the coming days. But what is sure is that we will not find hydrogen in the country where it's forbidden to go in for hydrogen.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I wanted to ask, which you mentioned, which is many times we have scientific obstacles, or when sometimes it's monetary obstacles. When it comes to science, what are the biggest roadblocks we have yet to overcome, and we still don't know in terms of finding hydrogen?
The point is that there is stuff we may do in the lab, in laboratory, and so on. But there is always a very large variability in the subsurface. And what is completely unknown, for me at least, up to now, is how the reservoir will react. We only have the example of Mali, which is a very positive place because there is a recharge of the hydrogen almost a daily basis. We don't know if it will be the case in other countries, and we don't know how the interface between gas and water, for instance, will evolve versus time. I mean, right now, with some stuff in Poland where the amount of hydrogen in oil seen decrease versus time. So for me, the reservoir and the reservoir management, we are completely unknown. But it's a question that never solved in the laboratory. We need wells and we need experience and we need first couple of years of production to get better on this stuff.
Fantastic. And thank you for answering these questions, and thank you for being here with me. And especially, thank you for putting together all of this that we're seeing with HNAT 2025 and the previous editions, because I know you're on the scientific committee of this event. So that's all for now. And I think if you're watching this, you'll probably, HNAT will have passed by now. But remember, next year you should be here with me, with Isabelle Moretti, and other experts. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Okay, Morten. Today we are closing the first day of HNAT 2025. We're going to do a recap for you guys. We're hopefully posting this on the day of day one, or maximum on day two. Please bear with us. So today we learned quite a few things, didn't we?
I do. I think we did. I think a really good feeling being now in a much bigger place than last year.
Yeah.
This is I think the fourth HNAT actually, or maybe even the fifth, because there was 2 online events.
My second.
Your second, yeah. And we met here last year.
Yeah, we met here.
So
Fantastic for networking.
This is still by far the biggest industry.
Yeah,
and this year there's more than 400 people present here, and that is 25% up from last year. So it's growing like much else in the industry.
It is.
That's really good.
What do we have to share? I mean, today there's been so many talks and so many that are specifying like what comes after hydrogen, but maybe you can tell me a bit more, Morten.
Well, I think sometimes you'll hear people really into the industry saying that, is it the same as last year? But I would say it's definitely not. There's so much more knowledge now. And I remember the first few conferences was all about ferry circles or subcircular depressions.
Yeah.
Because basically that was what the industry knew. We could scratch the surface basically, and now it's much more literally in depth.
Yeah.
So we have much more thinking. We've seen presentations from Thor and Max Power, old hydrogen companies, from our index, and telling a bit about what they're doing. I find that's interesting.
Yeah, and to me, what I meant just now with what comes after hydrogen is what comes after we find it. Because it does seem like now the companies are starting to see what happens when we start commercializing, what happens when we get it flowing. Okay, it's no longer, I mean, last year I remember being at some of the talks. I don't want to say anything wrong here, but I said there's a lot of science, but what comes later?
You're totally right. And I think what you told me earlier is that you actually listen to much more people talk about what about offtake, where to move it. And I think we hopefully tomorrow when we do the investor day, we'll talk about it even more. It'll be really interesting. But I think that's really healthy. And this is also why this conference is the one where you have most investors present. It's not enough, I would say, honestly, but it's growing. We have that.
We need more competitors from Morten.
We need more competition.
Yeah.
We have that, but truly we need.
Yeah.
But one guy I missed today was Richard Hartman
from
the US Air Force. I think reason why he's not here is the US government shutdown, but he usually has some good points on how to use the hydrogen. He recognizes as he talked about it in our podcast.
On our podcast. Go and watch it.
Yeah, true. YouTube. Right. That U.S. Army likes this, U.S. Air Force. It's into it. They see that there's an energy security thing as well as new kind of energy. So.
Yeah. And hopefully you're soon going to be able to watch an interview with Doug Wicks. We did talk a bit more about potential new technology. That's very interesting too. So Morten, what's your feeling? Oh, go ahead.
No, but you reminded me that, of new things. That we had actually an announcement from the States today that as organization called Renaissance Philanthropy have decided to help the natural hydrogen industry. The guy running it, Ishan, we will do an interview with him.
We did. Earlier I did it, so we're going to see it too.
It'll be out. But basically moving the industry forward by sharing more knowledge.
And grants.
Exactly. And the first thing they did was announce a grant to HyTerra that are drilling, working in Kansas to share more of their data, giving them some money so they can organize and share data with scientists. So we can look into the well, see is there anything interesting happening? Why is it working? What's not working? We don't know now because there's no data coming out of it. But that's really interesting.
Good. His push, the push from RenPhil or Renaissance Philanthropy is information will accelerate natural hydrogen, and it's something I agree with so much because I think it's something I mentioned before. Even working for NatH2Investing, we need to be a bit more democratic with information. I know IP can't be given out, but we need to be more open because otherwise the industry will take a long time to get where we want to be.
And that is Ishan's point that, how long it took for geothermal to get where it is. And he has some good examples that when there was some government support that shared data from a well drilled, that really helped. And so definitely, this is an idea we will back as much as possible.
So I guess I'll be seeing you tomorrow for Investor Day, and we're co-hosting it.
We are,
which is great.
We're proud of and thankful for the summit for HNAT to invite us to do so.
Absolutely. So see you tomorrow. We'll be back with a recap tomorrow We'll be back next week as well with some interviews we did. We had Viacheslav Zgonnik, we had Douglas Wicks, and so many more, because there's going to be more tomorrow I'm going to interview. So see you then. Any last words for you?
I'll just see you tomorrow. This is a great place to be. We'll be here next year. Look forward to see many of you in person.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. HNAT 2025, guys.
Exactly.
See you.
Bye.